This, I thought, was a very interesting story in a very different way, and it was actually Fraser Nelson's piece this week, which was with millions on benefits, we don't need a big migration boost. And this all came about because, you'll know, the chief executive of Next, Simon Wolfson, said, I can't find people to fill these jobs, which was working in a warehouse, £9.80 an hour, 5 a.m. start, find your own way there. You couldn't find it. So the answer was to bring people into the country. Now, I do not agree with that answer straight away. People were talking about market forces. Well, I've got a few market forces for Simon there. A, are you paying enough? B, is it easy enough for people to get to work at that time in the morning? Is it working? And equally, we need to look at now, we've got over 5 million people on unemployment benefits in one way or another. I know some won't be able to do work, but there must be 1 million, and we've got 1.3 million job vacancies, so there must be 1 million that we can train up and get to do work. I do believe we've got to make sure our people are working. We don't just go to the far corners of the earth sucking in more people to do jobs that we don't want to do.
This is where politically I think we come full circle and almost meet, Esther. Because I'm clearly wokey Romani compared to you guys, if I may.
Well, not now compared to Phil.
No, not compared to Phil, forget Phil. But actually, I was always sceptical about the impact of freedom of movement because I felt the economic inequality of Eastern Europe, I know that part of the world very well, compared to Western Europe, meant that they were going to experience, and they did, the most appalling brain drain. And we never talked about it. Yeah. You couldn't, at the height of mass migration from the East to the West, you couldn't find a doctor, a good doctor, or a good vet, or a good nurse in Romania. And I could see our aggressive NHS adverts in English, in Romanian, when I went on websites in Romania, in train stations in Romania. And that felt
And I've always agreed with that, and I've always thought that were wrong. I mean, you were saying, Simon, earlier.
Yeah, there are so many aspects to this. One thing that really aggravates me about the whole debate, which is what you're beginning to get to, is that it's talked about as numbers and it's not talked about as skills. Yeah. I mean, because the other end of the brain drain, you're absolutely right, is that the reparations, if you like, that are paid from this country, people working in this country, back to their home country, is bigger than foreign aid. I mean, this is an enormous injection of cash, at least, into the families there. So, the point about it is that... In some cases. But economically it works both ways, is my point. Secondly, I agree with you about the brain drain. But the whole idea that Brexit would somehow have solved immigration, it was always a nonsense. It was always about having a decent immigration policy. It was never about Brexit.
It was about control.
So what you've got now is you've got far more immigration from non-EU countries.
But I would argue that Brexit rode the common tiger of immigration to get the votes in.
Oh, of course it did.
And the other thing, just on a personal note, so I'm married to Romanian, I better put my colours on the mast. But, for example, if you go to a medical school in Bucharest, this was very much the case a few years ago when we had a stronger economy and the Eurozone a weaker one. There was a joke, that is ticket to go abroad. But the Romanians are paying to train those nurses and doctors, and we benefit.